Today I will be teaching you the basics of Pygame. We will be making a basic game where we can move a square around using the arrow keys. If you have not downloaded Pygame, you can use my how to download Pygame tutorials. The first thing we have to do is import Pygame. If we import it as PG, then we don't have to write Pygame over and over again, we can just write PG. Next we need to initialize Pygame. And then we have to create a screen with the width and the height that we want. We could just write the number of pixels wide and the number of pixels tall, but let's do it as a variable. Remember to do two brackets, two open brackets and two closed brackets. Now we can add a caption at the top, that is what this text is at the top of the window. You can set the caption to whatever you like. Now we need to create an infinite loop so we can control whatever is inside the Pygame window. We will use a while loop. First, let's pick which colour the screen is going to be. Colours in Pygame are RGB, so red, green and blue. Every colour is a mix of them, and 255 is the max. So we'll create a variable in red, and we want full red, no green and no blue. So we can fill it in red. Now we have to update the screen. So we can show what is on the screen. Now we need to make it so we can quit Pygame, so it doesn't run forever. So in Pygame there are events as every key pressed and wherever the mouse is. So if we print event and run the program, tells whichever event, every single event where the mouse is, which keys are pressed. If the mouse button is pressed, keys, everything. We have to look for one of those events and then we can tell the computer to do something when one of those events happens. So we're going to use the quit event, that is the exit button. If the button is pressed, then we're going to change running equal to false, that will quit out of the loop, and after the loop we'll do pygame.quit, this will quit out of Pygame. Now we can run the program. When we run the program, it comes up with a red screen, and if we click the exit button, the window closes. So now we can create the square we are going to control with the arrow keys. To do this, we can just draw a rectangle. We want to draw it to the screen, in green. We have to add green up here. Green equals 0 to no red, full green and no blue. And then in brackets we want to add the x and the y and then the width and the height. So we'll do 100x and 100y, and then we will do size. We'll do 50 pixels by 50 pixels. Now we can run. Now our square is on the screen. Remember, the coordinates are taken from the top left corner. So that is why it's here, not down at the bottom. Now we can make the square move. To do this, let's add an x and y variable. We'll do the 100 and move y equals 100. And instead of doing 100 and 100, we'll do move x and move y. Now it's in the same spot. Now we can make it move. To make it move, we can use the events again, but instead of looking for a quit event, we can look for a key down event. So if event.type is equal to pygame.keyDown, then we're going to have to see which key it is. If you want to use a letter, you can use the lowercase. You can use it lowercase, but if you want to use something like an arrow key, then you'll have to do it in capitals. So we'll use the left arrow key, and then when the left arrow key is pressed, we'll take away 50 from move x. So, when we run the program, you can move to the left. Now we just need to add up, down, left and right. Or up, down, right. We can just copy the same code 4 times. So we would like left, right, up, and down. For the right, we're going to add 50. For the up, we're going to take away 50. And for the down, we're going to add 50. But for the up and down, we're also going to change it to move y instead of move x. So now, when we run the program, we can move all around the screen using our arrow keys. Next, we need to stop it going off the edge of the screen, because, we have to add barriers so the square can't go off the edge of the screen. To do this, we'll type move x. No, we'll type if move x is less than or equal to 0, then we'll set move x to 0. We'll run the program. And now it can't go off the edge, because every time it tries to go further than the edge, it gets set back to 0. so it can't go off the edge, but it can still go off the edge on the top, right, and bottom. Now to make it not go off the right, we just have to do if move x is greater than or equal to the width of the screen minus whatever the size of the square is, that's 50, because the coordinates are taken off the top left corner, so it would be off the edge of the screen if we didn't subtract the width of the player. Then all we'll have to do is move x equals width minus 50. Now when you run the program, we can't go off the left and we can't go off the right, but we can still go off the top and the bottom. To stop it going off the top and the bottom, and we'll change this to LF. To stop it going off the top and the bottom, we can just copy and paste the same code and change move X to move Y and width to height. Make sure this is an if here, because if you do an elif, if you go to the edge and go down, you can go off the screen. If you go anywhere else, you can't. So you have to make sure this is an if. And now we can't go off the screen anywhere. You can move around the screen and we can't go off anywhere. Arrow keys.